I 32F have finally orchestrated the perfect revenge against my toxic family who treated me like their personal ATM and tried to take over my life. This isn't just about their attempt to move into my home or the 9 months of financial exploitation, it's about decades of manipulation that finally pushed me too far. I'm a senior project manager at a major tech company, leading a team of 50+ developers. The past 9 months, I've been forced to pay $1,100 monthly to support my sister's family. But the real breaking point came when my parents decided they had the right to move into my home and take my master bedroom. Let me introduce the cast of this family drama. My sister Amanda 35F is married to Brian 36M, a self-proclaimed entrepreneur who hasn't held a steady job in years. They have 2 kids, Ethan 5M and Sophie 3F. Our parents, Henry 63M and Jennifer 61F, have always worshipped the ground Amanda walks on while treating me like an afterthought, unless they need money, of course. 9 months ago, I was summoned to what they called a family meeting. I arrived at my parents' house to find everyone already there, with somber expressions that I now recognize as practiced manipulation. Amanda was sitting on the couch, dramatically dabbing at her eyes with a tissue while Brian paced the room. My parents sat in their usual spots, Dad in his recliner, Mom perched on its arm, both ready to gang up on me. "Catherine, we need to discuss something important," Mom began, using that tone that always preceded some new demand. "Amanda and Brian are having some temporary difficulties with their rent. We've decided that you'll help them with $1,100 monthly until they get back on their feet." Notice how it wasn't a request, it was a declaration. When I tried to protest, pointing out that I had my own expenses and was saving for my future, Dad cut me off. "Family helps family, Catherine. Have you forgotten everything we've done for you? Everything they've done for me?" Let me list some examples of their family support. When Amanda got married at 24, they threw her a $50,000 wedding with 300 guests. When I graduated summa cum laude from university at 22, I got a card and dinner at Olive Garden. When Amanda needed a car, they bought her a new SUV. When I needed one for my first job, I was told to take the bus or buy a used car. Last Christmas was particularly telling. Amanda's kids each got mountains of expensive toys. My gift to them, educational books and art supplies from a nice but reasonably priced store, were met with eye rolls and complaints that I was being cheap. Meanwhile, my own Christmas gift from my parents was a $25 gift card to Target. For 9 months, I've been transferring that $1,100 to Amanda's account, watching my own savings dwindle while they continued living lavishly. Every month, like clockwork, Amanda would post pictures of expensive restaurant meals, new designer clothes, and toys for the kids whenever Brian landed a small contract. Then when the money ran out, they'd be back asking for more, claiming they couldn't even afford groceries. They used the kids as emotional weapons too. "Don't you want your niece and nephew to have a good life? Auntie Catherine doesn't love you enough to help Mommy and Daddy." It's manipulative and disgusting, but they've been doing it so long they don't even see how wrong it is. But the real breaking point came last week. I walked into another family meeting, thinking it would be yet another demand for money. I was wrong, it was much worse. "Catherine," Mom started with that fake sweet voice, "we have wonderful news. We've decided to give our house to Amanda and her family." I was surprised but relieved, maybe this meant they'd stop demanding money from me. Then came the bomb. "We'll be moving in with you," Dad announced as if it was already decided. "We'll take the master bedroom, of course. Don't worry about rent, you've got that covered, though utilities will go up a bit with 3 people. I sat there stunned. They were planning to take over my home, my personal space, my life, and they expected me to pay for the privilege. When I started to object, Amanda jumped in with her usual manipulative tactics. "God, you're such an egoist," she sneered. "And don't forget to keep sending me the monthly support. Kids need things, you know." Everyone laughed except me. This was a joke to them. I was a joke to them. That's when something inside me snapped. I realized this wasn't just about money, it was about power, control, and decades of systematic emotional abuse. Over the next few days, I discovered something even more sinister. Brian wasn't just bad at business, he was actively engaging in fraud. His startup ventures were elaborate schemes to defraud investors, complete with fake projections and non-existent products. My parents weren't just enabling him, they were active participants, using their retirement funds to help cover his tracks while pressuring me to provide the real financial support. The most disturbing discovery was how they were using the kids. Amanda and Brian had been forcing Ethan and Sophie to participate in social media scams, making them pose with gifted products for sponsored posts while pocketing the money that should have gone to the children's future. The kids showed clear signs of anxiety from being constantly forced to perform for cameras. I spent 3 weeks building an airtight case. I hired private investigators to document everything. I consulted with family law experts about protecting my niece and nephew. I arranged for them to be taken care of at a top-tier child care facility once everything went down, ensuring they'd have stability and professional support to deal with the trauma their parents had inflicted. I also discovered that my parents had been running their own schemes for decades, using their perfect family image to scam their church community and friends. They had been stealing from literally everyone in the extended family, using elaborate lies about helping Amanda's kids to extract money from relatives. The most heartbreaking evidence came from the kids themselves. During a recent babysitting session, Ethan had a breakdown because he couldn't remember his lines for a social media post. Sophie asked me if she needed to perform better to deserve dinner. These weren't normal 5- and 3-year-olds, they were trained performers in their parents' ongoing scams. Today, I executed my plan. I submitted comprehensive evidence to the relevant authorities about Brian's fraudulent schemes and my parents' involvement. I also filed reports about the exploitation of the children, including all the documentation of how Amanda and Brian had been using them for financial gain. Instead of moving into my master bedroom, my parents will be moving into prison cells. Amanda and Brian will be joining them. The kids are now safe with Child Protective Services, where trained professionals can help them process everything. I've arranged for their long-term care and education through a trust fund managed by an independent trustee. The reactions were immediate and explosive. Amanda called me screaming, cycling between threats and tearful pleas. Mom left hysterical voicemails about family loyalty. Dad tried to threaten me with consequences. I blocked them all. For those wondering if this is too harsh, this isn't just about them trying to take over my home. This isn't just about money. This is about 2 decades of emotional manipulation, gaslighting, and exploitation. This is about parents who treated one child like royalty while using the other as a bank. This is about protecting 2 innocent children from growing up in a household built on lies and manipulation. Everything I've done is completely legal. Their downfall will be entirely of their own making, I'm just making sure all their sins come to light at once. They built this house of cards, I'm just letting nature take its course. I'm writing this from my apartment, where no one will be taking my master bedroom. My phone keeps buzzing with messages from extended family members, some angry, some supportive, most just shocked. I've blocked most of them too. The ones who stood by silently while I was being exploited don't get to have opinions about my revenge. Major developments will unfold in the next few hours. I'll update as significant events occur. For now, I'm going to enjoy my first peaceful evening in years, knowing that justice is finally being served. To those dealing with similar family situations, sometimes the best revenge is breaking free and letting toxic people face the consequences of their actions. Document everything, protect yourself, and don't let guilt keep you trapped in an abusive situation. Update 1: The last 24 hours have been absolutely explosive. Everything unfolded faster and more dramatically than I could have imagined, with shocking revelations that even I wasn't prepared for. At exactly 6:47 a.m., police simultaneously raided 3 locations: my parents' house, Brian's office, and Amanda's private storage unit that no one was supposed to know about. I watched the live security camera feed from my laptop as chaos erupted at each location. At my parents' house, Dad attempted to barricade himself in his home office, frantically shredding documents while Mom screamed hysterically about her ungrateful daughter. What they didn't know was that I had already provided copies of every document they were desperately trying to destroy. The real shock came when police breached Dad's office. Behind a false wall, they discovered a hidden safe containing not just fraudulent documents, but detailed psychological profiles of every family member, including me. They found journals dating back to my childhood, meticulously documenting how to manipulate each of us for maximum financial gain. My own profile was labeled, primary resource, handle with care. Amanda's storage unit revealed something even more disturbing. Besides the expected stolen goods and fraudulent documents, they found dozens of scripts and staging instructions for the children. Detailed manuals on how to make Ethan and Sophie perform for maximum sympathy and financial return. There were even performance evaluations rating each child's ability to generate revenue. But the most dramatic scene unfolded at Brian's office. When police arrived, he tried to escape through the back window, on the third floor. In his panic, he got tangled in the window blinds and was found dangling upside down, screaming about how Catherine ruined everything, while office workers from neighboring buildings recorded the whole thing. The children were safely removed from Amanda's house by child services, but what happened next broke my heart. As the social workers were leading them out, Sophie looked up and asked in her tiny voice, "Did we not make enough money today? Is that why we have to go?" Ethan, trying to be brave, started reciting his sad story script that Amanda had made him memorize for emergency fundraising. Then came a series of revelations that shocked even me. The police found a second set of books in Brian's office showing that their exploitation went far beyond what I had discovered. They weren't just using the kids for social media scams, they were running a full-scale manipulation operation, using different children's performances to extract money from various charitable organizations. My parents' involvement was deeper than anyone suspected. Mom's carefully maintained church lady persona hid a mastermind who had been orchestrating emotional manipulation schemes for decades. They found recordings of her coaching Amanda on how to make her children cry on command for photos, and detailed schedules of which relatives to target for money during different seasons. The most chilling discovery was in Amanda's phone. She had a ranked list of all family members, with detailed notes on their exploitation potential. I was at the top, labeled as maximum resource, lifetime value. There were calculations of my projected lifetime earnings and strategies to ensure long-term financial control, including plans to move our parents in with me as phase 1 of asset acquisition. But here's where it gets even more intense. During interrogation, Brian cracked and started revealing family secrets that even I didn't know about. Apparently, there was a whole network of similar schemes running through their social circle. Other parents using their children for financial manipulation, all connected through my sister's mommy blog and network. The FBI is now investigating at least 12 other families. The children's first night at the care facility brought both heartbreak and hope. The staff discovered that both kids had hidden emergency performance kits in their backpacks, complete with makeup, scripts, and instructions on how to appear appropriately distressed for different scenarios. But when they realized they didn't need to perform to get dinner, something extraordinary happened. Sophie actually smiled, a real, unscripted smile that the staff said lit up the whole room. A surprise ally emerged in this chaos, my mother's sister, Aunt Carol, who I hadn't heard from in years. She arrived at my apartment with boxes of evidence dating back decades. Turns out she had been documenting my family's manipulation tactics ever since she noticed something off about how they treated me as a child. She had tried to report them years ago but was dismissed as a jealous sister. Now, her meticulous records are providing prosecutors with a valuable timeline of escalating abuse. The most dramatic moment came during my parents' initial court appearance. Mom, still trying to maintain control, attempted her usual manipulation tactics on the judge. She put on her concerned mother voice and started talking about how this was all a misunderstanding from her troubled daughter. The judge, unimpressed, responded by playing one of the recordings found in their house, Mom's voice calmly explaining to Amanda how to maximize their return on Catherine investment. The investigation has now expanded beyond our immediate family. Every hour brings new revelations as more victims come forward. Former church members, business associates, even distant relatives are sharing stories of manipulation and financial exploitation. The prosecutors say they've never seen a case where the facade of a perfect family hid such a sophisticated network of emotional and financial abuse. Ethan and Sophie are showing signs of improvement already, though in heartbreaking ways. Yesterday, during their first therapy session, Ethan asked if he needed to practice being sad before talking to the therapist. Sophie wanted to know how many followers she needed to get breakfast. But when they realized they could just be children, without performing or earning their basic needs, the therapists saw their first genuine emotional responses. I'm currently working with Child Protection Services to ensure the kids get all the support they need. The investigators say they've never seen children so young who were so thoroughly trained in emotional manipulation. But they're also saying that the speed with which Ethan and Sophie are responding to genuine care gives them hope for a full recovery. More revelations are emerging hourly. I'll update as the situation develops, but right now, I need to focus on working with the authorities to ensure everyone involved faces justice. The prosecutors say they've never seen evidence this comprehensive in a family fraud case. They're calling it the perfect takedown of a lifetime of manipulation. To those wondering about the children, they're safe, they're getting help, and for the first time in their lives, they're learning that they don't have to perform to be worthy of love and care. That alone makes all of this worth it. Update 2, 1 week since my last update, and the situation has exploded beyond anything I could have imagined. The prosecutors have uncovered a web of deception so vast that they've had to form a special task force. Brian's arrest led to the discovery of an international fraud network. During his first interrogation, he tried to play tough, maintaining his successful entrepreneur facade. That crumbled when the FBI showed him evidence that his biggest investors were actually money launderers. He broke down completely, offering to reveal everything in exchange for a lighter sentence. The evidence he provided exposed an entire network of fake mommy bloggers who were using their children for financial scams. Amanda wasn't just a participant, she was one of the ringleaders. She had been running workshops teaching other mothers how to maximize their children's earning potential. The videos of these workshops, now in police possession, are horrifying. The most shocking discovery came from the kid's therapist. During a play therapy session, Ethan revealed that he and Sophie had a secret performance house, a rental property where Amanda would take them to film special videos for high-paying private subscribers. The authorities raided this location yesterday. I can't share the details yet, but the prosecutors say the evidence they found there will ensure Amanda never sees the children again. My parents' perfect image has shattered spectacularly. Their church community discovered that the charitable foundation they ran was completely fraudulent. Every donation meant for underprivileged children had gone straight into their personal accounts. The pastor found records showing they had stolen over $300,000 from the congregation's goodwill. But here's the twist that stunned everyone: Mom was running her own secret side operation. She had been consulting for other manipulative parents, teaching them how to exploit their successful children. The police found recordings of her coaching sessions, including detailed strategies for emotional manipulation and financial exploitation. She had turned family abuse into a business model. The children are showing remarkable resilience. Yesterday, Sophie had a breakthrough moment in therapy. When offered art supplies, she initially asked, "How many people need to like my drawing before I can keep it?" When the therapist explained she could draw whatever she wanted, just for fun, she burst into tears of relief and drew her first ever unscripted picture, a rainbow, slightly messy and absolutely perfect. Ethan is also making progress. During his latest session, he built a blanket fort, something Amanda had always forbidden as not aesthetic enough for content. He spent 2 hours just being a kid, playing with dinosaur toys and making up stories. The therapist said she's never seen such a dramatic transformation in such a short time. The prosecutors have added multiple charges based on the new evidence. Brian is facing 15 to 20 years for fraud and money laundering. Amanda's looking at 10 to 12 years for child exploitation and fraud. My parents are each facing 8 to 10 years for their roles in the schemes. The judge denied all bail requests, citing the extensive networks they had built for exploitation. I've been granted full permanent custody of the children, with all parental rights terminated for Amanda and Brian. We're moving to a new home next week, somewhere without any cameras or social media presence. Somewhere they can finally just be kids. The most satisfying development? The entire mommy blog empire has imploded. Hundreds of followers are coming forward with stories of how they were scammed by Amanda's exclusive coaching programs. All the money she made from exploiting her children has been seized and will go into a trust fund for their future therapy and education. To protect the ongoing investigation, I can't share more details right now. But the prosecutors say this case will change how authorities handle family-based financial exploitation. They're already drafting new guidelines for detecting and preventing child exploitation in social media families. We're focused now on healing and building a new life. The kids started at a new school where nobody knows about their past as social media props. For the first time, they're making real friends and having genuine childhood experiences. This will be my last update until after the trials. The prosecutors need to protect the integrity of their cases, and more importantly, the children need privacy to heal. What matters now is that justice is being served, and 2 innocent children are finally free to just be themselves. Update 3, the trials concluded today with an explosive finale that no one saw coming. Just when everyone thought this story was winding down, my family orchestrated one last dramatic performance, and it backfired spectacularly. During the final hearing, Amanda launched what she thought would be her masterpiece of manipulation. She had somehow convinced Ethan's former therapist to testify that I had manipulated the children into making false statements. The moment the therapist took the stand, Amanda shot me a triumphant smirk. That smirk vanished when her plan spectacularly backfired. The prosecution revealed surveillance recordings of her threatening the therapist's family to coerce this false testimony. Amanda completely lost it in the courtroom, screaming that she was the real victim and that everyone was just jealous of her perfect life. Then something incredible happened. Ethan asked to speak to the judge. My brave 5-year-old walked up to the bench and said simply, "I don't want to be in pictures anymore. I just want to be a real boy." The courtroom fell silent. Sophie, not to be outdone by her brother, tugged at the judge's robe and added, "I can laugh real now, not just pretend laugh." My parents tried one final manipulation. Mom launched into a dramatic speech about family loyalty and how I was destroying the perfect family. The prosecutor then played their final piece of evidence, a recording from my parents' house the night before they announced their plan to move in. Mom's voice, crystal clear, "Once we're living with Catherine, we'll have complete control. She'll never be able to escape supporting Amanda's family." It's the perfect trap. The judge's ruling was swift and severe. Amanda and Brian, 15 years each, no possibility of early release. My parents, 12 years each. Their entire network of fraudulent family businesses is being dismantled. Every penny they stole will be repaid to their victims. But the real victory isn't about their punishment, it's about our freedom and new life. The kids and I have moved to a beautiful new home in a quiet neighborhood. Yesterday, for the first time ever, Ethan played in our backyard without asking if someone was filming. He got muddy, tore his pants, and laughed like I've never heard him laugh before. Sophie has discovered a passion for wild dancing. Not the choreographed routines Amanda made her perform, but pure, joyful, uncoordinated twirling. She makes up her own songs now, silly nonsense songs about butterflies and ice cream. Last week, she spilled juice on her dress and, instead of panicking about ruining the shot, she helped me clean it up while giggling. The transformation in their emotional well-being is remarkable. Ethan's new teacher called me yesterday, amazed by his creative writing. He wrote a story about a robot who learns to feel real feelings, completely his own idea, not a script someone gave him. Sophie's preschool says she's become a leader in her class, helping other kids feel comfortable being silly and expressing themselves. I've found my own joy too. My career has taken off now that I'm not drained by constant family demands. I was promoted to Director of Operations, and I'm launching a foundation to help children from exploitative family situations. Several major child advocacy organizations have reached out to partner with us. The most beautiful moment came last night. We were having dinner, nothing fancy, just mac and cheese that Sophie helped make. Ethan looked up from his plate and said, "Is this what normal happy feels like? I like it better than pretend happy. I'm dating someone wonderful now, a child psychologist I met through the kids' therapy program. He understands our journey and celebrates every small victory with us." Last weekend, he helped Ethan build a crazy silly blanket fort. Sophie adores him because he knows all the best dinosaur roars. We're planning our first real family vacation, a messy, fun camping trip. Not a curated photo shoot destination, but a genuine adventure where the kids can just be kids. Ethan wants to learn about real bugs, not pose with plastic ones. Sophie is excited to sleep in a tent, even though it won't look Instagram perfect. To everyone who supported us through this journey, thank you. To anyone trapped in a toxic family situation, there is hope. Real happiness doesn't need filters, staging, or manipulation. It's found in muddy shoes, imperfect drawings, and genuine smiles that no one is recording. We're done looking back. Our future is too bright and too real to waste time on old shadows. We're building something beautiful here, a life full of authentic joy, real achievements, and true love. That's the best revenge of all.